Welcome back, everybody. This is Michael Levitas from JurisQ.com, where we bring you different attorneys to discuss various legal topics and newsworthy cases and events. And today we have with us back Alla Kurolapnik, a divorce attorney. Alla, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me back, Michael.
Thank you. We had you on just previously talking about cheating. It's a big part of many divorces, and we talked about the financial ramifications of adultery. We talked about its effect on alimony, on dividing assets. My next question is child support. If a spouse was caught cheating, does that at all affect the child support obligations of the other spouse?
So directly, there is no correlation between adultery and the award of child support. Child support is a statutory, formula in New York, where the courts are obligated to calculate child support on certain statutory, factors. So right now, it's you take both parties' income up to the first $163,000, less certain taxes and deductions, and that gives you kind of your net income for purposes of calculated child support. Then, depending upon how many children you have, the law assigns a percentage. So if you have one child, it's 17% of that combined $163,000, and then you prorate it based on your salary, your incomes, right? So if one spouse is earning 50,000, the other spouse is earning 100,000, that's 50%. So it's it'd be a 50 split, right? So in any event, there's the formula for calculating child support. So directly, there is no impact, adultery and child support. However,
there's always a but. Okay, let's see.
There's always a but. The law is a very gray area, so there's always a but. I can see how a claim can be made that, for instance, if you are if a spouse that's been cheated on can prove that there's been a dissipation of assets, and if you can recoup part of that money or half of that money back into the marital pot, and that money is then awarded to you.
For a second, I'll just explain what that means, dissipation of assets. We talked about it last time. That means, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if the adulterer spent family money on a boyfriend or girlfriend on the side instead of keeping money in the family, right? And then there's a mechanism to bring that money back in.
Right. So it's I'm going to just substitute the word family with marital, right? Because really, when you're talking about that, it's part of the marital pot. The marital pot is whatever you've earned during the marriage, whatever you've saved, whatever you've acquired. That's your marital pot. So if the adulterer, exactly like you said, spent the money out of the marital pot on his or her girlfriend, boyfriend, then that money belongs half, in the pot, and half of that money belongs to the spouse that's been cheated on, right? So how does this relate to child support? If there's a significant amount of money that you can prove that's been dissipated, and half that money goes back in the pot to the person that's been cheated on, that money is then awarded, or assets, I don't want to say money, but let's say assets. Those assets are then awarded to the spouse that's been cheated on. Well, guess what? When you do child support, one of the factors that we look at is, at the end of the case, is what the amount of income producing assets that you have. Right? So for instance, if you somehow manage to recoup a large sum of money, and that money is given to you in the form of, like, let's say, stocks, bonds, or other kinds of investments, and there's an income producing aspect to it, the adulterer can make the claim that, look, he or she, the other spouse is going to have not $100,000 when we're done divorcing, but it's going to be $100,000 plus income. That income is then taken into consideration when you are calculating child support. So there's no direct correlation, other than to say that if there's some kind of a dissipation, half the money goes back, and that money is, or that asset is an income producing asset, because that income then flows to your income for calculating child support. Child support is based on income.
Right.
So that's, you know,
Mhm.
where you are with that.
All right, this it
Adultery
seems like,
also,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say adultery also plays a factor in custody, which is a whole different other subject that we can talk on, you know,
That's a
at a
great
different
topic.
time.
Yeah, that's a great
But
topic, and we'll definitely come back to it. Yeah.
it can definitely play a role in custody proceedings.
Mhm. Very good. Alla, what I see here, this is not an easy matter, a lot of considerations, and definitely you have to talk to a seasoned attorney who has seen it all, seen all types of left turns and right turns in a divorce proceeding, and it's very important to to get a consultation. I think even before filing for divorce, before even considering filing for divorce, so you know what to expect and what are the rights and responsibilities. For that, we have Alla Kurolapnik, a strong proponent of using mediation in divorces, and you can hear about mediation in our prior sessions and our future sessions. Alla, thank you for your time. Your phone number is on the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to come back to you in our next session because you're so seasoned and experienced as a divorce attorney. I'm going to ask you from your experience, what have you seen? What are the top mistakes that people make in a divorce proceeding? It's going to be very interesting. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.